Hello, everyone. Today I want to do something that I haven't done before, which is to talk about a book that I recently read. Well, I actually listened to it as an audiobook, but this book has completely blew my mind, and it's Animal Farm by George Orwell. And I heard about this book before, and but I never got a chance to read it until now. I have read 1984 by George Orwell, and I really enjoyed that. But I must say, Animal Farm, for me personally, rates higher than 1984. It's that good. Um, so, if I had to describe the book with one sentence, it's the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Okay, that's the way I understood what happened there. The book is an allegory, as I understand, to communism and to the totalitarian system that is established under communism or in the name of communism, in particularly in the Soviet Union. And there are many parallels into how uh, the events that take place in the book are also correspond to some events that happened in the history of Soviet Union. So a very brief summary on an animal farm called Manor Farm. Animals one day unite and decide to overthrow the owner of the farm called Mr. Jones because he's very brutal and oppressive. And once they do that, initially things are well, everyone's working hard, there's equality, something called animalism, which is obviously the allegory for communism. But over time, those in charge consolidate their power and oppress other animals even more than they were oppressed before, which is a perfect summary for what happened in the Soviet Union. And there are other characteristics here as well. There are other farms, neighboring farms. There are two neighboring farms, and with one of them, the animal farm has good relations. With the other one, it doesn't, and it kind of changes over time. And I think that represents capitalism and fascism. And at some point, the animal farm decides to trade with one of the farms, which in my opinion represents fascism, and they sell timber to it, which is almost exactly what Soviet Union did with Hitler. Is they started trading with him before he attacked them. And in the book also, that farm eventually attacks the animal farm. Uh, Fantastic book, and I would highly recommend it to anyone. Well, obviously, in post-communist space, but even more so to the people in the West who have some illusions about communism, who think that communism is somehow a good thing, and that the real communism wasn't really tried and shit like that. Well, I recommend you read that book if you really think that. Okay? So, obviously, this applies more to people with the left wing ideologies, with ultra progressive ideologies. Uh, well, if you want to know what would happen if the things you believe in were to come to pass and your ideology becomes dominant, read that book. Okay? So, the way I see it is uh, communism didn't work because it couldn't have worked. It's so much against human nature. Okay, equality is not in human nature. Okay, we are greedy animals, and that's why capitalism, with all its excesses and all the problems associated with it, is still better than communism. Because in communism, You can't deny human nature. Sooner or later, it takes over. Whereas in capitalism, you're kind of not trying to pretend too much that we are kind of equal. No, everyone gets what they deserve based on their effort, right? Based on their talent. And yes, of course, there are ways to curb that. There are ways to control for that without completely denying that there are disparities among individuals. Okay, disparities in skills first and foremost. Okay, in skill. So, in my opinion, that's why communism or anything that passes at communism, equality is great, right? Equality of any kind is a great idea, but when you start advocating for equality to the detriment of the skills differential, that's when you're going to have problems. And that's when you're going to end up with an animal farm. Okay? Utopia leads directly to hell. Okay? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So be careful that your intentions don't end up in utopia. Okay, so that's my view on the book. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any comments, please comment below and let me know what you think.